what's going on? I hope everyone's doing well. It's about to rain here once again. That's all it seems to do this time of year, so I've decided to make another video, which is good because I still have a lot of music to talk about. What I'm doing today is going back to my existing collection to talk about 4 CDs. The reason I'm doing that is because I have a whole load of new stuff, which is mounting up, but I'm still in the process of listening to that. So in the meantime, I just want to make another video to keep the channel going and talk about some CDs which I know really well. With the new material, I still have to familiarize myself with it. So that's what I'm doing today. 4 CDs in my collection. You'll remember from previous existing collection videos, I got up to Dark Throne. So I talked about all of their studio albums in over 2 videos. So where I'm up to in the alphabet now is DE. And with today's video, there's an actual theme. It's actually 4 different bands, but they all revolve around one concept. I decided to call it Deadly Bands because all of these band names are related to dead or death. So yeah, I think you know what to expect. Interestingly, you might be surprised, I don't own any original albums by the band Death. So that might be a shock to some people and you're probably thinking, oh, that's a crime. Yeah, I know. You know, so many bands, so little time. I haven't got around to that. Like, I do like the band Death. Particularly, like, I'm not overly familiar with them. Like, some of the later albums are, yeah, I quite like them. The earlier ones are really good, but I don't own any in any event, so I'm going to talk about the ones that I do own. So 4 CDs, 4 bands, we'll just get straight into it. Okay, so the first album I'm going to talk about today, this is The Dead with The Dead. So self-titled album. If you watched my Australian Metal Gems video I made a while back, like it was split over two videos. I talked about this band. They're a death metal band from Brisbane, Australia, and the way I discovered this band is when I was living back in Australia, I went to a live concert in Brisbane and they had a whole load of bands and I'd never heard this band before, but when I heard them performing on stage, I was like, who the hell is that? Like, that sounds really good. They played one song off this album which had a really great heavy groove, so that was Hunting Humans, brilliant song, and that's what got me into this band. So yeah, death metal band from Brisbane, Australia. Sort of sounds a bit, their sound is unique. Pretty cool artwork there. It's sort of like it's not exactly death grind, but there are grindy elements to it. So like when they play really fast with blast beats and it's really pummeling, it reminds me a little bit of Brutal Truth, like the album Kill Trend Suicide. But on the other hand, they also have some very sort of groove-driven riffs and a lot of like groovy breakdowns in their songs. So like it's groovy and heavy at the same time as being blasting and extreme. So it's a nice balance between, you know, those different styles, I suppose, which is cool. And what's interesting about this band is they're extremely heavy because the bass sound is just very prominent in this. Like when I listened to it, I actually thought maybe there's 2 basses. It almost sounds like that. Like one has the deep pulse and the other one's got that sort of like the funky slap string style, but like both of them combined, maybe it's just layered, I don't know, but it just sounds really, really heavy. The vocals are incredibly deep and guttural, the guitars are down-tuned. So if you like death metal and you like death grind, this band would be up your alley for sure. But I do think, like I said, just their sound overall, I think it's unique actually. So definitely worth checking out for that. On this album, you've got 9 tracks and they're all really good. It's varied in tempos as well. So like, even within songs, so like they don't just have slow songs and fast songs, often they change tempos quite a lot, so it always keeps you interested. The vocals, like I said, they're really guttural, so they just add to the heaviness and the down-tuned sort of nature of the music. Yeah, all songs are good, but my favorites on this would be the opening 2 tracks, which are called Hunting Humans and Onslaughter. Also track 6, which is called Drown in Sin. That's where they slow down and it's got this thick, heavy death groove, which is really awesome. And as I mentioned, my absolute favorite track is A Killing Kind. Sorry, yeah, I said before Hunting Humans, I meant A Killing Kind. Like, listen to that song, it's just got the best heavy death groove ever, and I mentioned that in Australian Metal Gems as well. So if you've got a spare 2 or 3 minutes, go and listen to A Killing Kind, and you'll probably be sold on this band if you like death metal. But there you have it, that's The Dead with The Dead. Alright, so coming up next, shifting gears to a slightly different style, which I don't talk about all that often. Dead Kennedys with Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death. So You can see here when I bought it at Red Eye in Sydney, they have the hype sticker just saying legendary 17 track best of set features certain songs. So yeah, this is actually a compilation of songs. I think so. It wasn't, I used to think it was an official album, but not really. It's a compilation, but it's just a killer record. Like, I'll tell you about this album. I think I've mentioned before, I had a neighbor who lived down the street from me, and he got into punk music, and like, he always gave me tapes and everything. He gave me a copy of this, and like, I remember in high school when I was like 15 years old, I practically wore my taped copy into dust of this album. I know this album back to front. It brings back a lot of memories of being in high school, nostalgia, like discovering new and interesting kinds of music. And yeah, I still love this album to this day. So when I was back in Australia a few years ago, I found it at a shop in Sydney and bought this instantly. Good price too, brilliant album. So Dead Kennedys, obviously, if you're not aware, you probably are, legendary punk band from the USA. They're my favorite punk band, American punk band, I would say. Like, to me, there's nothing like them. Like, a lot of people say the Ramones, and like, yeah, the Ramones are a good band, but like a little bit poppy and mainstream, and like, no offense, because I do like the Ramones. Then there's also Black Flag. Yeah, Black Flag is good. When Black Flag is good, they're great, but to be completely honest, I find some of their music dull as shit. It can be at times, but anyway, you tell me what's your favorite punk band. But Dead Kennedys, like, just like, it's fast and extreme. They write catchy songs. You can hear all the elements, like the guitars, the bass. Obviously, Jello Biafra's unique vocal style plays a big role in it, as well as his lyrics. Like, the lyrics are very memorable. They're sort of like a, you know, political activist band. It's interesting, in this band they talk about a lot of social injustices in an ironic, sort of sarcastic way, and some of the lyrics are really funny, as you know. But anyway, this album, 17 tracks, there's not really a bad song on it. Like, maybe there's a couple I'm not, like, towards the end, like Buzz Bomb from Pasadena and Night of the Living Rednecks. Like, those two, like, they're not bad songs, but like, they just don't stand out as much. But like, listen to this track listing, they're all just brilliant songs. Like Police Truck, awesome song. The infamous Too Drunk to Fuck is a great song. California Uber Alles, which is one of their most famous tracks of all time. This is a slowed down version, not the same one as from Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables, which is a lot faster. Man with the Dogs, like, every time when I'm just saying these titles, I want to sing along. Like, fast, energetic, extremely catchy. Insight is a great one, great backing vocals in that. Also, Life Sentence, brilliant song, love it. A Child and His Lawnmower, that's the one with the good backing vocals. Another famous track, Holiday in Cambodia, which is a great song, great bass line in that, great melodies, great chorus. They also do a cover of Elvis's I Fought the Law. That's funny, this band has done a lot of Elvis Presley covers. Like, they covered Viva Las Vegas on the first album, and also I Fought the Law. Like, this song is just great. Like, the original was great, but this cover is so great, especially with East Bay Ray's guitars. You know, like, just incredibly catchy. Then, what's interesting is later on in the album, they have a series of live tracks, which are really funny. Like, they're jamming spontaneously. Sometimes like they switch songs, like they're playing one thing and then they start another one. Sometimes it's like Jello just doing like, how would I describe it? You know, like a ad-lib kind of like speech, like putting words over music, which is really interesting, like talking about incidents that have happened to him. And then like the really funny song, like Pull My Strings, which is all about how to become a corporate rock star. You know, the lyrics are very sarcastic, but it's so catchy, and they get the audience to sing along. Yeah, Straight A's is a great song. Also the song Kinky Sex Makes the World Go Round. That's like another instrumental track, but it's got Jello talking over the telephone, pretending to be the US Secretary of State, I think, talking to the British Prime Minister. And it's another sarcastic song talking about how governments and corporations around the world start wars. Like, whenever I listen to that track, I just laugh because it's brilliant, because it's like, it might be a little bit exaggerated, but I think there's some truth in it, and like the way he says it is just so ironic and sarcastic, so really funny. But yeah, excellent album of punk rock. Just show you, the booklet is awesome, like a lot of pictures in here, you know, to accompany each track, which is great. You can hardly fit this back in the cover. And see, so you've got the logo there, DK. yeah, so just endless. And what I like about it is, yes, they have nice readable lyrics at the end, but the thing is, with this style of music and Jello's style of singing, apart from when he's singing really fast, you can actually understand what he's saying. But yeah, just a really nice collector's item. And I'm not going to try and put this back in the cover now, but just excellent, fast, varied tempo, catchy, brilliant punk rock music. I love this album. The other albums which I listened to a lot by this band were Frankenchrist, which is like a lot darker and gloomier, but like very good. Also Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables, but this is hands down my favorite. If you've never heard this band and you want a place to start, this is it. So Dead Kennedys with Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death. All right, coming up next, this is an album shifting gears once again to some death thrash. This is DEATHWITCH with Monumental Mutilations. So if you're not familiar, DEATHWITCH are a death thrash band from Sweden. And the way I heard about these guys was, it was on a compilation, like a Terrorizer compilation. They had the song Terror Doom on that. And I was really just blown away by it, because it's sort of like very sort of heavy death metal in the vein of kind of bands like Dismember and Grave. But at the same time, it's crossed over with thrash. Like, it's got the energy and the chugging riffs of thrash, but like very dark, very heavy, that buzzsaw Swedish guitar sound. Really, really good. And that song Terror Doom is great because in addition to that, they have a lot of, how would I describe it? Like melodic parts as well, like melodic guitar solos and melodic overlays, which just sound really great. So that's my favorite song for sure. Just show you the credits in the middle. Pretty basic booklet here. And there you have the CD. Yeah, one limitation I would say about this is it does sound a little bit one-dimensional. So if you're listening to it, the songs can sort of blend into one a little bit. Like, they don't stand apart too much all the time. However, it just has some great moments on it. And I promise you this, even if sometimes those overall listen albums are still really good, it's just like you're listening to it and you're getting into the groove, you'll be tapping your head along. And there are some great standout tracks on this. Like, some of my favorites are tracks 2 and 3, so Demonic Witch and Possessed Sadist. Also track 4, Firefuck, very catchy chorus on that song. And yeah, the other one being Terror Doom with the blistering melodic guitar solos. But yeah, if you like that old school Swedish death metal, you know, in the vein of Grave, Dismember, Entombed, that kind of thing, crossed over with the energy of thrash, definitely worth checking out. So that's DEATHWITCH with Monumental Mutilations. Sort of an underrated gem. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that band so much. Okay, and last one I'm going to talk about today. This is one I've spoken about in a collection update before, so I don't need to talk in too much detail. This is Deceased with Ghostly White. So this is the only band today which doesn't have the word dead, but deceased, it's still related to death, so it fits in nicely with this theme. Yep, so I'm sure most people are familiar with Deceased, sort of a legendary underground death metal band from the USA. And again, they cross over into other styles of metal music as well, like traditional heavy metal, death metal, that kind of thing. Sorry guys about the light, these clouds are darkening, and this room is shit when I have the light turned on. There's too much glare, so hopefully this picture turns out okay. But yeah, I digress. Yeah, so this band, it's sort of like old school death metal, but mixing other styles like heavy metal and thrash metal, which makes it interesting. Also King Fowley, the vocalist, he's got a unique voice, I think. And this band is interesting because it's not that run-of-the-mill death metal. Like, they experiment with different sounds and styles and everything. Like, there's some keyboards on this album. And also, like, as I mentioned in the collection update when I talked about this, just some of the guitar parts, like the melodies, like the grip on melody that they have and the solos and everything, and the production of the guitars, it's a unique sound, and it's just like this infectious melody which sticks in your head. So really good songs, and they've got some, you know, like chugging riffs and catchy breakdowns and everything. So it's, you know, it's always like plodding along in a good way. I mean, like, not plodding as in it's languid or anything like that, but like, yeah, you're just tapping your head along. Really, really good stuff. I listen to this if I'm just looking for something fresh and different. You know, like, usually I'm listening to death and black metal all the time, and then some days I go, yeah, I'd like something fresh, so listen to this, it's different. Really nice booklet as well. As I've mentioned before, this band, it's sort of horror death metal, like they're always talking about horror film themes and that kind of thing, a bit like Mortician, and this album specifically has a preoccupation with the supernatural, so hence the title, Ghostly White. But yeah, nice glossy booklet, and I like the use of colors in this, very supernatural. And this artwork, that is really cool. And just showing you the disc here. Yep, Ghostly White. So yes, very good album. Again, it's to me this is like an overall listen album, like you get absorbed in the music, but it's so good. As I've mentioned before, my favorite track is track 4, To Serve the Insane. Just very thrashy, riffy and catchy, that song, and it's got a chorus which is memorable. You can sing along to it. Also, track 6, The Shivers, is fantastic, like just great memorable guitar melodies and lines in that song. But yeah, as I said, great album, and really interesting themes covered in this as well. So that's Deceased with Ghostly White. Alright, believe it or not guys, that's the end of this video. So just a quick one for you as a sort of interim filler. So talking about dead and death related bands. Hope you enjoyed the video. As I said, I've got a whole load of other stuff coming up. 2 collection updates coming up, but as I said, I'm still going through the music, so that'll take some time to digest that. So I hope this keeps the channel going in the meantime. So once again, thanks for watching if you made it this far. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and if you haven't subscribed yet and you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Alright guys, so it's about to rain here, so I don't think I'm going to get my run in today, but at least I got the video done, hey? So in the meantime, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.